right, here's what I'm going to say to myself. I will not touch anything after the first book, Study in Scarlet. Every Sherlock book, he's already a detective, right? So if he's not a detective, he's not just going to take a case. But Hero was the first person to audition for the role. And I remember really clearly we auditioned just up in Covent Garden near here. I have in my head multi-seasons, like where we go and where we end.
Firstly, Matthew, Akash Bhatnagar from Hindustan Times India, and let me tell you,
Nice to meet
there's a lot of excitement in our country for the show.
Oh,
and
good.
having watched it, I can tell you that I am super invested in it. So I want to ask you there, like Sherlock is a character that has had its legacy in the showbiz world for a long time. How did you ensure that this doesn't become just another footnote in it, but actually stands out with an identity of its own?
That's a good question. I mean, it's something I was very scared of, very nervous of, because you come into a job like this and you're like, I got a call, we've got this material, you're interested. And a lot of brilliant writers, a lot of brilliant actors have done this, right? So I had to find a way of giving myself permission to sort of play. Otherwise I think you just feel like you're sort of writing with a straitjacket. The pressure's too much, right? So what I said to myself, I went back, I'd read the books as a kid, I went back and read the books again. I listened to a wonderful audio, the Stephen Fry Audible recording, which is like 72 hours long, and I listened to all of it. And I thought, right, here's what I'm going to say to myself. I will not touch anything after the first book, Study in Scarlet. Before that is my playground, right? So that unlocked something and gave me, for me, creatively permission to play. So that was sort of the way of trying to not feel the weight too much of previous adaptations.
Yeah. And also, let me tell you that one thing I really liked about the show is that it doesn't delve into, because usually when we have seen Sherlock, it's all majorly about his cases than about the man.
Yeah.
Here, it's more about the man than the case itself. Was it somewhere in mission from the start, or something like organically kind of
No, I
unfolded?
think that's a good point, actually. I never thought of it quite in those terms, but I think for me it was like he's not a detective. So every Sherlock book, he's already a detective, right? So if he's not a detective, he's not just going to take a case. He's not just going to say, well, I'm going to take this case, because he's not a detective. So for me, it was like, how do you drag him into, he has no choice but to try and find the answers to this. So that was, it was very much, even the sort of Young Sherlock movie, the Barry Levinson movie, like from the very beginning, he's sort of interested in taking a case. And so in this, it was more about trying to, like I say, pull him into the case. So in our world, he can't be a detective, because the moment he becomes a detective, he's Conan Doyle's Sherlock. He's grown up. Do you see what I mean? So that was sort of how we approached it.
Yeah. So somewhere, do you think it offered you a cleaner slate as well to kind of develop a new image of Sherlock for the audience?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, look, I'm always interested in the Conan Doyle Sherlock. He's a very strange character. He's very eccentric. He's a loner. He has no friends apart from Watson. He's an oddball, and I love that about him. So for me, it was like, how does he become that person? And I knew that I liked the idea of our Sherlock being kind of a live wire. There's a line in the Return of Sherlock Holmes where he says to Watson about how he'd make a great criminal. And I was like, why would he make a great criminal? And I thought, well, maybe when he was young, he got into trouble with the law. He's a bit of a live wire. And so that was how he started to be formed in my head, this Sherlock.
Yeah, but as I said, that there's so much popularity of the show in India as well, because it's such a globally cherished character. Somewhere getting that expectations and excitement of the global audience, did it act as a motivator?
I tried not to think about it, if I'm honest, because it's too daunting. I think you have to, well, everyone works differently. I have to sort of create a space and just work with the directors, work with the actors, to try and bring it to life in the way that excites you. And I always have this thing. I remember starting out as a writer and having this writer once said to me, Matthew, if it makes you laugh, then it might make someone else laugh. If it makes you cry, it might make, and I think that's all you can do. The idea that if you're too aware of the results, I think sort of gets in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I tried not to think about that.
Yeah, but I'm happy you didn't, because somewhere the end product has turned out so magical. But talking about the casting of the show, like now it seems perfect when we have it all on display. But
Yeah.
for you, from the starting board, how did you kind of come up with the casting, especially Hero as Sherlock?
Hero, so Guy had worked with Hero on a movie called Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, so he knew him. But Hero was the first person to audition for the role, and I remember really clearly we auditioned just up in Covent Garden near here, and he was on holiday in Thailand, and he did a Zoom from his hotel room, and he did he did a reading that has, like in the show, he has a sense of wonder. His Sherlock has a sense of the way he looks at the world. There's a sense of wonder and innocence. He did that on that first read. And then all the other Sherlocks I met after that, I kept coming back to Hero, and then that's usually a sign that he's the role. So he was the first one, and I couldn't get him out of my head.
Yeah.
So.
And lastly, I want to ask you this: that now that the world has been built, does the future kind of holds for you?
I have in my head multi-seasons, like where we go and where we end. If people love the show, we'll get to do that. So I'd love to keep going because it's a beautiful world and it's a wonderful sort of team around us. By the way, there's a character. Do you know a movie, an Indian movie called Lagaan?
Yeah.
So do you know Mrs. Tilcott? If you come to Mrs. Tilcott, have you seen later episodes?
I have seen.
You have seen so the Mrs. Tilcott who adopts or looks after, I can't give too many things away. She is Elizabeth in Lagaan.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's
oh my God, we have an
many
Indian
years
connect.
later. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah,
So.
but very excited to see that, and very excited to see, and I'm sure the trailer already has shown you how much love the people are giving it, and on 4th of March is gonna just get multiplied by exponentially. So thank you so much, Matthew, for giving me this time. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you, and can't wait for what more seasons hold for Young Sherlock.
Thank you for your enthusiasm.
Thank you so much.